Greetings, foolish mortals, and welcome to Session 1, Episode 1, whatever you want to call it, of Eerie Quiet on the Western Front. We, as always, are the Occultists Anonymous, and we come to you tonight, sponsored by Roll20, the Onyx Path, and our 999 happy haunts. Some of our happiest haunts are Adele, Al, Alexander, Alsrit, Bernie, Buck, Chandra, Chris, Doc, Emil, Funzu Salru Ali, George, IRL Rilla Remington Wannabe, James, John, Josh, Camo, Cat Feathers, Klaus, Crazy Man, Long Live the Queen, Melissa, Michael, Milo, Ms. Grumpy, Moku, Mozart D Minor, Noba, Other Guy, Perry, Foog, Porter, Puppeteer, Reality Has an Ear-Flicking Policy, Recently Deceased, Ask Your Doctor if Geist is right for you, Riafio, Ryan, Sean, Shixara, Taryn, This Bitch, Thomas, Vortex Falcon, and Aethernalis. We appreciate your support, because without you guys and ghouls, we wouldn't stand a ghost of a chance of putting on this show.
Buckle up, everybody.
I'm in charge. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yes, I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it.
So
take your
yes,
pun
please.
meds.
Hopefully you watched Session 0 more recently than I have, so you can type in chat when I say something wrong. But
That was a month ago.
I know, it was a while. I had to read over my notes again. I was like, what did I do? What is this game? Ghosts? Cool, got that part.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to be playing in a game of Geist the Sin Eater, 2nd edition. The game is set in Belgium in 1916. Specifically, the starting date of our campaign will be October 2nd, 1916. I don't know what day of the week it is, y'all. I don't really care. It's fine. They're all the same. You're in war.
Everything is horrible.
Let's stop beating the dead horse with these ghost jokes. I refuse.
Thank you, Greg.
So, 1916 in October, we are in and out of the town of Ypres in Belgium, which is in the marshlands, and our plucky adventurers, investigators.
I don't know if either of those words work for us.
I mean, sort of.
Yeah. Yes, Cody's pretty plucky.
You've been, yeah. Oh, sorry, you were objecting to the plucky. I thought the plucky was the one that fit the best, actually. Anyways, they have been recruited and trained and sent to the Western Front by a one Knight Commander Sebastian Brentwood, who leads essentially a research, a secret forces research division that has been looking into examples of paranormal phenomenon, and specifically has found a rash of people that have come back from the dead. Confirmed, in many cases, messy deaths that have then gotten up and walked away from it. And that is a subject of which all 4 of these players are intimately familiar. And so we will be exploring their day-to-day lives and their adventures, the monotony and the drudgery and the horror of their lives as they have been sent to this area of Belgium to investigate and just, I would say you don't have clear orders here, right? There's no particular thing that you've been told. This is why we're here. This is where I feel that you will be needed. we out of character all recognize
Some
why
big
someone might
bullshit.
have that sort of, yeah, exactly, why someone might have that sort of take. And in the weeks and months that you've been here, there has been all number of horrific battles and weeks of nothing, and it is at the sudden and vicious end to that nothingness that we will pick up as mortar shells fly in from the German lines, machine guns rattle in their nests, the constant percussiveness of the shots and the drums of war abound, and we pick up with Adelaide Martin running through the muck and dragging injured boys down out of the very edge of no man's land, back into the trenches of the front lines. What is your I would say you kind of got you were going on checking in on like medical storage supplies and stuff like that at various different points on the trenches, and kind of got caught up in all this. What would you say you've been like doing while this battle has been going on, and stuff like that?
Probably just trying to do whatever immediate medical attention you can provide to people that have like shrapnel wounds or whatever, like tying up bandages, helping people get out if they can.
Right. Cool.
But very front lines medic things.
Sure. And there's, you have others with you. I think. I would ask you: is this something that you would have tried to do in your time here? Is like garner up more a like front lines medic squad with some of your other nurses and stuff like that. You basically have command over if you want.
Yeah, probably just to have a few people to be there to sort of keep everyone going.
Right.
Or to try to get them to medical attention if it's more severe sooner, rather than to increase our chances of surviving. Right.
Yeah. So I think we will we will set the stage of you have just pulled this guy down off of this absolute muddy edge of a trench and slopped down into a puddle, and you can see he's got just shrapnel wounds, and his entire coat is just torn apart, and both as a person and as a bound that he is unlikely to last the next few minutes, and with a little bit of sunlight seeming to just come down right upon you, and you recognize this man in a Norway. You don't recognize the man. You recognize a shit. Is Norway? Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. I was gonna make a whole thing, but never mind. Because Norway wasn't in World War One, so all neutral and whatnot. Anyways, this man essentially looks up and sees your face sort of silhouetted against the sun as his dying breath is something about an angel.
Can I do anything to sort of ease his pain? Like, I don't know if I have a power that can do that.
I would say, he's actively dying. Just, yeah. You might have some morphine or something like that if you want to just back him up real quick, but that's not really a roll or anything.
Yeah, basically just try to... I feel like probably make it go quicker, honestly. Like, if I don't have a way to ease the pain, just like...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's something to be said for that, for sure.
Angel of Mercy.
And over your shoulder, in this hollow whistling voice that's maliciously happy-go-lucky. Your Geist is just saying, I don't know why you bother.
I'm just ignoring him. Yeah.
My dearest Adelaide, you could be so much more than just a nurse running around. A piece of comfort to these men. You could be better than them.
I want to be a nurse. And their lives matter. We'll see what I become if this ever ends. But for now, this is what I'm doing.
Well, suppose it is within the bargain we made. It is your drive that I respect, not your particular actions. You might want to go over there. And he just gestures over, and he's not done pointing to where he gestures, and a body just gets blown off of the top and lands down in the muck.
Yep. I'm running over. I'm not going to question that, but...
And this sort of mangled corpse that lands in front of you does seem familiar.
Oh, God.
And as you look down upon this, shattered legs and torso falling apart, that familiar stench of ectoplasm fills the air as the body stitches itself back together. And you are, I think, not for the first time, watching as a one Cody Owens gets brought back to life.
Let's be clear, it's not all that frequent, otherwise I have synergy problems, but...
I mean, if you're starting at Synergy 1, then...
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of straighten out his jacket and pick him up.
Cody's pulling at the ectoplasmic caul that covers over the face, and like there is most definite like embarrassment, but he's like turning his head as he eats it. Yeah, need that plasm back. And
a few seconds prior to your eyes popping open, I think in the span of your very graceful and short stint as a flying human being, you are greeted with a vision, as you have at least a couple times now, right? We've established Cody's died a couple times because he's into some reckless bravery shit.
Yep.
Okay. The vision you see is troubling. More so than just any death. You see a man in a dark room, mudded floor and sandbags give you the idea that it is part of a trench network. And you sort of look down at yourself and see a German uniform. And in the darkness of this room, with the one detail you can make out, from the one candle that someone has left you is that the metal door to exit this sort of bunker has been welded shut. And the death that you bear witness to is the coughing and sputtering and caustic death of mustard gas entering your lungs.
Trying to remember, did allies use mustard gas? Okay.
Nope.
Didn't think so.
Not
Okay.
at this time, certainly.
Right.
I don't think very much at all.
Yeah. So a lot of the quick scramble eat because need meat, some plasm. But then I imagine that Cody is still tasting it and smelling it because it's not just watching the death; you get to experience the death. And like sitting back and just having a moment where on one hand, and he probably mentions, like, it looks up to Adelaide and goes, "It's okay, it was a German." But at the same time going,
That one didn't taste very good.
not that. But no, definitely, like, hang on. It was a German, but that was mustard gas. I recognize it.
Yeah, even so far as like your voice is a little hoarse and your nose is running and stuff like that.
Yep. I was like, he was in a locked room. And like, just, I mean, yeah, Cody's died a couple times and just kind of like peering up over the trench as if somehow he's going to recognize the bunker wherever it was and just going,
No.
it's going to be someplace close, air quotes, but
Right.
yeah. And just like, why the hell? Sorry,
They're
ma'am.
gassing their own people?
In a bunker left by themselves. And like, and again, the little peek over.
Did you notice anything about the person?
German uniform. They left a candle for him and they welded the door shut. He wasn't leaving. And then pumped mustard gas into the room.
I'm assuming that's not how they normally execute their...
I would imagine a bullet to the head is much easier.
Pumped it in
Cheaper.
or set it off.
Yeah. I don't.
Could have left it as a trap for the
Yeah.
ally.
Oh, for Chris, was the German tied to the chair?
You just
Oh.
loose in the room and then got gassed. Yeah,
You can roll wits occult if you'd like.
I will do that.
just Cody.
Just Cody.
One success.
As you think back over it, there was it was tough to make out any sort of details in the single flame candlelight, but it seemed that the table that was next to you with the candle had some like scratchings and runes or something on it. It's not enough to make out any sort of thing that it might have been.
Right, but at least enough to
Right.
pick up occult.
Something
Vibes.
was being done, right? You feel confident in that assumption.
Right. Well, I think my forays in trench raiding are gonna be put on hold. There was some more unusual, our kind of unusual circumstances around that. I saw some symbols, icons. Not that they meant anything to me, but I don't imagine that they were there just for fun of it.
Something to note, possibly report. I kind of want to find this bunker.
I do too, but like again, peeking up over the trench.
Across
it's
no
not going
man's
to
land
happen.
in the German trenches.
That's like, I mean, I might be able to make my way over there because I imagine that is a thing Cody may frequently do with Call. Is just like, I'm gonna be a sneaky little, thing and go,
Just ooze your way across.
Yep.
Yeah, you could probably make it over there. You'd be alone.
I will point out that you do know someone who's pretty good at finding things within a mile.
Mm-hmm.
2 miles?
Yeah. But no, when Adelaide says you'll be alone, he just looks at her with the most deadpan expression, and then she may not see him, but Cody looks over at the thing that follows him and goes, yeah, I don't think we do the alone thing anymore, Adelaide.
Don't remind me.
Yeah.
And since Drew has made some adjustments here, are we still calling him the whipping boy?
Yeah, though I am open to suggestions from the rest of the crew. If there's a better name, because sorry guys, my little my lines and veils came up and the kid thing was just not working anymore.
Yeah,
I was like, I need to.
I was impressed you went for it, knowing that was one of your lines. I was like, okay.
Like, oh, but the kid's already
Cool, rough.
dead. So.
That's kind of what I was like, and then I legitimately had a moment where I was thinking about the interactions, and I was like, wait, I have to talk to the kid.
No.
So, if I've understood what you were saying the other day, or maybe I'll just let you describe.
Yeah, like a 5'10", normal human-sized, human-shaped body, but there is no skin. He still looks fresh and extra drippy, gooey, bloody, and exposed bone and weird bone spurs kind of thing. So, very blood golem kind of look. And in my head, has a probably... Go ahead.
Does he look like he is and being with no skin, or does he look like he more like a golem, like put together?
Yeah, it's very put together, like,
So he was not skinned.
Right, not flayed, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
not flayed man, but more this sort of dripping blood
Put together thing, yeah. And I imagine still speaks with a pleasant, clearly understandable human voice, which to me is
It's worse. Yeah.
far
Oh, yeah.
worse. It's like if he's going around brains all the time, it's like, okay, that's fine. Oh no, he's just conversational and speaking with a slight French accent or Italian or something else. It's just like,
Yeah. Doesn't sound like a monster, but
looks like one, yeah. And probably still has the same like keys and stuff like that. So still vengeful, still
And
So you
I
wanted
think he's-
suggestions. Stafford, considering a description, Stafford Quincy Jones would have suggested that you call him the Sanguine Sentinel.
it's not a
It's up
bad
to you,
one.
whatever.
Oh
you-
yeah.
you
No,
come
I
up with a name.
yeah.
Just especially as a poet, he's
Yeah.
fond of alliteration.
we
And-
noticed the new
Oh, yeah.
name for your guys.
Mhm.
Jack, yeah.
yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a little bit here.
Mhm.
Because we
Yeah,
were
I just-
solid on those details when we left session 0, so I'm excited.
All
Yeah,
right.
the description of a put together monstrosity immediately Frankenstein.
Right.
So Prometheus.
Not a bad one either. Yeah. I'm kind of the mind that it hasn't given a name to itself, and Cody is continually trying new names. Actually, that may be a thing, Stafford.
I think a
and Cody.
conversation that it has had with you is that names are powerful, and I choose not to have one. I give. Call me what you wish.
Yep.
And in this moment, as you're talking to Adelaide, it like walks up behind you, and in this very like possessive gesture, as you say, we don't do alone anymore. It's sort of just like, and I think it's bigger than Cody, right? Like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, like it may not
noticeably
be
enough.
like towering tall, but
No,
it definitely has
no.
bulk. Yeah,
Can we
enough.
see them?
when
Other
they
people's
want to.
presence?
When they,
Okay.
yeah, if they want to be seen by other bound, then yes. And I think in this moment, yeah, you do see him, and he just sort of drapes his arms crossed around your neck in this sort of
The cute boyfriend
perverse-
girlfriend thing.
yes, this perverse version of this like possessive grab.
Thanks, Chris. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Perry. I will probably keep that one at least for now, and that may just be
Bleeds. Love that.
it may just be a running thing throughout the game. It that bleeds. Just keep changing the name.
And yeah, I think we'll probably leave that scene there for now. There's still more work to be done as the battle continues. And not long after that, like the machine gun nests start winding down and stuff like that. But the mortars keep pounding from both sides. And you have noticed that this is how it goes: is that bombardments will happen for weeks on end. Just continuous swapping out crews and firing as many shells, and then when somebody gets the particularly bad idea to try and take some ground, then that's when the actual like fighting happens. And so with those mortars in the background, we cut a ways back further in closer to the city, and a doting elderly grandmother, the picture of charm and love and grace, is sort of peeling back a canvas flap to walk into a sort of a barracks bunker that she knows some of the boys are in. And what is Miss Dorothy up to there, Craig?
Dorothy smiles and says, "Hey boys, got you
There's
fellas a treat."
There's this very just like it is this like this mix of reactions of like when your favorite aunt comes to visit, and then the like absolute trepidation of what weird shit has she brought us this time from her trip, right?
Yeah.
So she opens up just like a canvas side bag and starts to pull out socks that she's knit for everybody. And this is a fairly regular thing, so the guys all sort of reach out for them, but she slaps hands away a little bit playfully. To
You got some last week.
Make sure you got some. Yeah, make sure you got your dry feet before you put these new ones on, or they're not going to do any good. And then as she walks through the little tent barracks there, she just kind of stops and grabs the corporal surprisingly forcefully by the front of his shirt, and her eyes sort of
Pardon, ma'am?
white a little bit, and she just holds him there, and she says, "When things go crazy, you're going to need this." And she hands this little cherry bomb. And if you look really closely, you can almost see like dry ice smoking off the side of it, but you could really convince yourself that that's not happening. And sort of presses it into his chest.
When you say cherry bomb, I mean like a firecracker?
No, like a bomb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you have that, Dorothy?
She's a
Just pull it
scrounger.
out of your bag.
She just finds things, right?
Cody and you, we're
I
gonna
mean,
have.
you also can requisition things too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe she requisitioned it. It doesn't really matter where she got it, but she passes off to the corporal with the warning that when things go crazy and he doesn't know what to do, use this. And then her eyes
and
blink.
he's got this look on his face like he's really learned to not ask questions about you.
And there's no
what-
recognition on Dorothy's face that the conversation
Yeah.
even happened, right?
And there's this he's being very thankful, and I think you've started to pick up on this. I think you all have started to pick up on this. Is that the sort of uneasiness that the living have around you? Like they're happy to chat, they're happy to follow orders, but if you start to really like get to know them and spend time with them, they start to really notice some of the weird things about you. It gets a little uneasy. They start, you'll notice that the boys in this particular crew are like crossing themselves as you go by, or you hear a whisper in French of the like the old woman's a witch or something like this.
I imagine that may even happen on like the kind of positive death vibes that, like, say the Angel of Mercy Adelaide shows up and everyone's like,
shit. It is not good to be where she is.
And
I mean, that is exactly where her geist is.
Yep.
Being aware of that, like, Dorothy would intentionally keep that, the weird ant, lovable but a little strange sort of vibe going. She doesn't let anyone get too close, kind of thing.
Right.
Just more for their comfort than for...
Yeah. And I imagine you kind of pop between different divisions and stuff like that, too.
Yep. Yeah, she's up and down the front, pretty much.
But yeah, you essentially are like a legend, because honestly, these guys would not have socks without, you and maybe a couple others that
really big deal.
Recruited, stuff like that. Trenchfoot's a awful thing that people are dealing with, but yeah, I think as you're leaving, that sort of like uneasiness starts to subside from the corporal, and he turns around and just holds this fucking bomb up like it's a goddamn relic, and he's like, "You boys got socks, but look what she knitted me."
Yeah, you gotta have that bravado.
And I think you walk into the cool October sunlight and down the trench down to your next stop, we'll fade off of that scene, and we'll leave you with a single whisper in your ear, from the lost centurion of, "I wish that we had had one of you."
No.
Oh dear.
Mr. Jones.
Yes. Bring it on me.
I really liked what you texted me, so if you want to sort of set that scene from
Thank you.
From earlier in the afternoon, and then I'll set the scene of what you're actually going to react to.
Okay, sounds good. Perfect. So, I can improv something, or I can read what I sent you. Whatever you think would be most evocative based on what's been established.
You do, you baby. I
like?
trust you.
All right, sounds good. Okay. So, as the camera fades in, there's a view first of a small puff of smoke, and as the vision resolves further, there's like a 3/4 view of Stafford Quincy Jones gazing south across low rolling hills. In his left hand is a jade cigarette holder, and he's gently puffing from it. Eventually, the camera comes over his shoulder, and the audience can view or recognize that he's composing a poem. And it seems that the content and theme of the poem is the paradoxical virtue of foresight. He's been thinking about this lately, and he's recognized that the paradox is because if you know in advance that you shouldn't do something, you won't make the mistake that would teach you to avoid it in the first place. So he's been rolling it around in his head, what the virtue is of following foresight if life is really about learning to avoid mistakes. And so you have to make them first before you can make the right
How
choices.
can you find out if you don't fuck around?
Exactly. Perfect. I'm glad you got that through line. I just wanted to write it in a way that wasn't silly from his perspective, right? It's a phrase I love, right?
Yep.
But come on, you gotta fuck around to find out.
Yep.
So he's like, okay, what's going on here, right? So he's brought back from the dead. And he's gradually come to understand that this is a gift, even if it's not the gift he would have wanted. So, and then I'd say that perhaps there is an additional sensory impression that the audience is getting. And so, despite the fact that he seems calm and contemplative, he's composing this poem and he's gently puffing from it, it's because he has, over the past few months, acquired a pretty strong relationship with his geist that prevents him from experiencing huge consequences. At first, it was extremely contentious because he thought of things in a really evocative way and they weren't as direct and brutal despite his, recent death. But he'd come to the recognition that he just needs to yield to the intense rage that his geist has in order to have any meaningful interaction with him. So he's currently embroiled in a discussion with his geist, which is Jagged Shards of Silvered Censure. That's the name he has come up for it. It's like a broken mirror swirling in a twister, constantly moving around in his soul, shredding everything around it. And at first he was caught up in that maelstrom, and he felt that his identity was being shredded away until he realized that jagged shards would bring him within, and then they could experience the rage together. So this discussion from outside perspective seems violent, but it is not like it was in the first place.
Right.
It's actually measured at this point. He's reached a point in synergy where he cannot tamp down on his geist's rage, and he feels it intensely. And so they just must be present together. The funny thing is, it's as though Stefford wanted his geist to meet him where he was, and he realized that he just had to meet the geist where it was.
For those at home, and also for those in the group, and also for me that just clicked on Ralph's character sheet that finally has dots on it, Ralph spent all 10 merit points on extra synergy.
That is what I was about to ask. I was like, hang on, what do you mean you have synergy?
Yeah, the point of his synergy, I was like, let me just click on this sheet real quick in case.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not a single merit.
Not a single merit.
No.
Just the ones that granted by the crew.
Yep. Yeah, so Stefford was trying to gain from this posthumous experience, right? And quickly learned that there was only one way forward, and it was through. He had to yield to it. I mean, he gained something as a consequence. He gained a better intrinsic, like intuitive appreciation for what it is to be abound, right? And he gained actually a better understanding of what his geist wants. And so that's what they're talking about right now.
Okay.
So the geist is...
Let me ask this.
Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What am I as jagged shards of silvered censure? That's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What am I pissed off about right now?
Oh, yeah. So Jagged Shards of Silver Censure is angry because Stefford let a slight go unanswered in town. All right, Chris. A petty officer made a comment at his expense, and Stefford kind of just waved it off and moved on because there was something else on his mind. And so they're out here on these hills, and Stefford's been distracted by this thing he's been thinking about. Like, what is the virtue of knowing that, hey, you're going to die and you can avoid it, right? It's foresight. All of these things that he has is abound. And Jagged Shards has gotten increasingly irate because he thought that they'd finally reached an accord. That when this stuff happens, you have to do it, right? It doesn't matter who it is. You kill them, right? You avenge the slights because that's what we are.
So from that perspective, you're sitting there and you're writing this poem.
Yeah.
And this crackling, tinkling voice that sounds like a hurricane is just in your ear. Kill him, shred him, tear him apart. leave nothing left but a puddle. And it's just a constant barrage of just endless cycles of versions of that.
Oh man.
And it has like taken a form, not like full manifestation, right? But it has taken a form outside of your body, and it is just like trying to pummel you. And
oh, wow.
and the for those that haven't read the book, one of the key things is that the Geist and the Bound can never hurt each other. You can interact, you can touch each other, you can feel the connection has been made, but you can never hurt each other. And so he's like, you're sitting there writing this poem, trying to focus and trying to figure out what to do, and he's just like swinging like
You're like
glass
slap
shards,
fighting.
just like slap fighting.
Yeah.
And it goes back and forth between kill him and I want to kill you, and like, and it's just this
So you're saying he's angry?
yeah, it's a little mad.
Ooh, actually, that is a question. For I guess for DM and Ralph. How often is the jagged shards actually so loud that Stefford is like, wait, hang on, what did you say? I couldn't hear you.
I think that varies with how recently he has given in to the rage.
Yeah.
So they've kind of reached an accord where it's like, look, we're good. I'm not going to ask you to kill everyone, not because Jagged Charge doesn't want everyone killed, but they've come to an understanding of what kind of people they kill, right? It's like, all right, personal slights to us, right? That's what we avenge, or to the group, right? He doesn't have a sense of like love and loyalty as a Geist, right? That's not the impression that Stefford has gotten, right? I'm not dictating whether or not the Geist does feel that, but he hasn't gotten that impression. He's just like, look, there's a code, right? You don't fuck with me, okay? Right? You don't want no shit, all right? Don't start no shit. But if you start some shit, you're gonna get buried. And so when Stefford hesitates, that's when it's a problem. It's like,
Sure.
This is really simple. You want to write poems? Okay, you got to kill somebody every now and then. Right? You said you wanted to come back because you didn't create your magnum opus. All right. Well, good fucking luck.
Here's your fucking inspiration.
Exactly.
So I pose this question.
Yeah.
What's the resolution of this conversation?
All right. So the resolution of the conversation is Stefford is still trying to ignore him because this is a petty officer in a group they've been with, right? And he's like, I just don't want to kill a soldier, right? Like I think this is the first time that he's trying to get him to kill someone he's serving with, right? It's been people he's not directly associated with before. They pass ways, and he's like, it doesn't fucking matter. You have no allegiance to them, right? You're not a soldier. You're just working with them, right? This person does not matter. And so Stefford's been struggling with that. So he eventually realizes it's not going to work, right? Like so the camera sees him place his pen in his book and close it and take the last few drags on his cigarette through the holder, and then exhale this immense cloud of smoke which obscures his face. But eventually his eyes become visible again, and the camera can see this tinkling silver shards in his iris, which indicates that he is giving into the desires of the Bound.
Cool.
And leaning on their synergy.
From that, like I think it's he's like a slow zoom through the, when I play like really directorial with this real quick,
cool.
like a slow zoom through the smoke as you exhale, and you catch those eyes, and it's taking up most of the camera, and then you zoom out and it is night.
Oh shit.
And you are in the corner of a twist in one of the trench lines, and we spin and we're over your shoulder as Quincy is crouched and walking quietly, relatively sneakily, but not without a direct sense of malice and purpose. And he turns a corner, and as the trench opens into I don't know what to call them, like where it kind of opens out into a square, not like a bunker, but like where it's open, a spot where, I should look up some more terminology, but anyways,
I got you.
And this guy is sitting there, and he's taken a pull on his flask and he's finished a cigarette. And you turn the corner and he sees you, and I think he recognizes you enough to say something rude.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's the last thing he says.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we're venting the rage.
Yeah.
For sure.
And very horror movie-esque scene that this is. It just, we cut black.
Yeah.
We hear squish.
Yes.
And we move on to another scene.
Yeah. Awesome.
Love that.
So good. Yeah.
All I can think is the big
ready.
glass shard of the knife.
Oh yeah. That's good. I like that.
Inspired to like grab something on the way, kind of thing, or
Mm-hmm.
so it's. I would say it's you're often inspired or pushed to not do something with a clean weapon. It's a broken pipe, or it's a big splintered door, or something like that. It's always like pushed to be whatever jagged shards was, whatever they have been through. It has changed them to be a force of nature.
Yeah.
A embodiment of Cain is perhaps a way to phrase it.
Yeah, I like that. That's great.
Maybe something that Quincy would have jotted down at some point.
Yes, that's very good. Yeah.
And so we fast forward a couple days, and you've been either pulled forward or back, and there is a particular bunker that that Project Persephone soldiers have taken to, using as a set of barracks and as a meeting place and stuff like that. And as you all go about getting coffee or waking up or coming in off an errand of some sort, that guy is very excited about bayonets. Yes, correct. It's time to affix bayonets, gentlemen.
They're rusty and jagged.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh definitely. Yeah.
And so, as you all come towards the center of this bunker, there's a little bit of, yes.
Can I just do a little tiny bit? As you guys come into the meeting, there's like hot coffee, and somehow she got some muffins. They're like sitting under a little towel on the table.
Well, how about
There is
that?
at this point still a few people that have chosen to stay in town. There is one just like 80-year-old baker woman that is basically is so pissed off at the Germans that she refuses to leave and refuses to stop baking, and like it is her declaration of how she will fight this war, that she will keep baking for the troops and stuff like that.
She has bake hard tattooed across her.
Something like that. Yeah, something like
It's
that.
just everyone knows that family during the hurricanes.
Yep.
No, I'm
Who's
not
gonna-
leaving.
Fucking fight God, and they're not leaving their house.
Yep. Yep. It is absolutely a poor decision this one has made, but it is an appreciated poor decision. You all turn and are grabbing some muffins that are unexpected, but not super out of the ordinary, and just in that perfect way that we know how it works. You all glance away from the table for a second, and when you turn back, there is an envelope on the table.
Of course. Yep.
And this has happened before.
I
Mm-hmm.
really hate it when he does that.
Think it's rather magical.
Well, shall I once again read it in a mockingly dramatic tone?
Absolutely.
I mean, you do his best impression.
Wait,
Well, about that.
Oh.
I was gonna read to us.
Ah.
You know how in movies you get this like it'll start with them reading aloud and then it transitions to their voice.
Yeah.
All of his correspondences are magically enchanted to read them aloud in his voice.
Fair enough.
But nobody else has figured it out except for Stafford. Stafford's like, man, you sound exactly like him.
Oh, that's great. That's a great bit of flavor.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, Ralph, but that's exactly like, yeah, Stefford's going to take that. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And this letter is overly flowy in language, as a lot of it is, and it's all, you know, harumphs and hurrahs and fight the good fight, and it is absolutely, I think all of you probably have sort of realized that it is a bit of a persona, but it also is in talking with the soldiers on the ground and experiencing what you have on the front lines of the war, it is a relatively common disconnect that some of the leadership of the armies has of, you know, they're just, especially Cody, like they're just moving some figures on a map. They don't really understand what is happening. Even hearing that, you know, they've lost a million soldiers this year, you know, doesn't ring true. Now, I would say not to immediately then like counterpoint that by saying that Knight Commander Sebastian Brentwood is one of the good ones, quote unquote, but you recognize that it is more a persona that he has to put on because the letters are read and because everything is checked for spies and stuff like that. So, and so it's greetings, good morrows, and I hope you are all enjoying your muffins.
Is he pausing for response? Does the letter actually pause for response?
It does. You're never sure whether you're actually like. I don't know if anyone actually says anything sarcastic back or whatever, and Stefford's like,
I think there's like
sure.
Over the coffee, there's a mumbled morning Knight Commander.
Stefford will attempt to respond in what seems like his voice. Sorry, go ahead, Craig.
And Dorothy says, and that's the thing, I never know whether it's me able to find stuff or him making it found. And that's what I hate the most.
Well, and I think he just calls you Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Miss and Mrs. Rather than ranks in this discussion, in these sorts of discussion. He sees you as a member of Project Persephone first, rather than a member of the army. The army stuff is things that you have to do.
Do our actual work.
To do your actual work.
Yeah.
And so,
seems
Mr.
like a
Owens, I
convenient
hope,
guys.
yeah, Mr. Owens, I hope you are feeling better after your brief stint in another world yesterday. And to each of the rest of you, well, good work. I apologize, Mr. Owens. That was not to say that you did not perform good work. You showed bravery and courage, like always, but you really must stop catching the grenades with your body. It is not really how it's done. Now, I write this command. Command is perhaps not the right word. I write this correspondence to give you a warning. I fear that something big is brewing outside of Ypres. I don't know if the Germans are up to something of our nature, or whether something more natural is not the right word, but
Mundane.
Well, not mundane. But something less human driven is brewing. be on the lookout, and I suspect that as we approach I think he calls out Samain. Or some I forget how to fucking pronounce the
It's like Samhain.
and he calls that out in All Hallows Eve and everything. As we approach these holidays where mystical and occult energies rise naturally, I expect there to be something big occurring. Find out what you can. Report back as you do. And try not to die.
Wait, is it October?
Yeah.
It's my brother's birthday this month.
Oh, wow.
So,
You feel inclined to send him a letter?
Yeah, I might.
He doesn't. I assume he doesn't know of your passing.
He does.
Or and he says,
mm.
"Oh well."
Yeah.
Oh,
And a
did you
letter
get
from-
like fully like dead, reported, buried?
Mhm.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, because
All right.
his whole squad. Oh, yep, lost
Oh, right,
all
right,
hands.
That's
And
right.
so-
You did say that was
And so they-
must have
Yeah,
told
that's
us.
fair.
Yep. So letters got sent off somewhere, and so yeah, at this point now, they don't.
I mean, to be fair, you could always write him and say that you survived and ended up in a hospital somewhere.
Had amnesia.
You had been written off by people who left you to die, but you didn't.
And then I'm expected to
Technically
come
true.
home. Yeah, also true. Yeah. I don't know. Actually, yeah. Stefford, could you help me write a letter from a war buddy?
It would be my pleasure.
Yeah.
Of course. I appreciate you for asking me.
You write better than I do, so you know.
Yeah, I just want to make sure to report the what Cody saw
Oh
when
yeah.
he died back to our Moros in charge.
It's a good idea.
I will be clear. He has not been upfront about being some sort of wizard or
Right.
anything. It's just he gets
I
feelings.
mean, he set together the undead squad,
yeah,
so
Right.
but in much the yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what he is.
I would say now, granted, Lord of the Rings hasn't been written yet, but I would imagine he would see himself as a Gandalf type,
Yeah.
in the vein of showing up to the Shire and like having gifts and presents and like being this sort of magnanimous, enjoying the benefits of being a wizard without, what?
I just realized that Tolkien is out here somewhere. We have to find him, Chris. We have to save him.
Yeah, I watched all 3 Lord of the Rings in the last 2 days, so
Oh, great. Yeah, you getting ready for the Rings of Power?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Ew, just coincidence then. Okay.
We'll
Just
see.
happened to see that they were on HBO and didn't know what else to watch, so
Fair enough. I
we'll
like
do
this
the
more
extended
like
editions.
yes, I did watch the extended edition, so I watched 12 hours of
Good, correct.
12 hours of fucking Lord of the Rings. There's not a single boy on boy hobbit smooch. Bullshit.
It's off screen.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What the fuck was I even saying?
We were giving
talking about
orders.
The Sebastian bookshop? Nathan? Yeah.
I was reporting to him the weird
yeah.
occult.
Yeah, that's right.
The Germans gassed one of their own guys in a sealed room, and there was something weird
On the table. Yeah.
on the table.
Cool. That gets sent off. And we have telegrams, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it doesn't take long for that to get to him, and then I would say later that night you have another communication that just says, "Be amongst the front lines. as soon as you can.
I
I
mean,
have a feeling you might find yourselves useful and or find something relevant to our interests.
for Project Persephone having soldiers, are they given a section of trench to hold, or are they kind of back a little bit from the actual front lines?
Your sort of home bunker is back a bit, but not like, I mean, we're talking. I mean, there's a lot of trenches, right?
Right.
So getting to the front lines is a bit of an endeavor, just like getting back to town is a bit of an endeavor, but it's doable.
Right.
And
In
you
our
don't
division,
have,
because of our need to move, we wouldn't have an assigned portion of the front. We could just go wherever we need.
Right.
To,
Right. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
You're all high enough ranked, and everyone has sort of been by your bosses, because you do have some others that are above y'all, that aren't just Knight Commander Brentwood, that have shown up and have essentially said this is what they're doing. They're here for special forces work, essentially.
Right.
They're not to be questioned, that sort of thing. And you all have done a good job of ingratiating yourself with specific people and playing the right roles and stuff like that, because you all have different strengths and stuff like that, I think. And there's other folks as well, like I would say amongst Adelaide's like nurse squad, there is another Project Persephone member who is has a bit of a just lost it, who is a bit of a medium and stuff like that, and so she takes it upon herself to speak with the recently dead as their ghost is sort of popping about the body and like helping them adjust.
I think you said there's some actual ghosts as well, right?
But yeah, and especially since we have the order to do it, Cody pulls up his rifle and says, I will see you tonight, Stafford. For our letter.
Yes, I understood.
Dorothy, Adelaide.
Let us.
And Cody is headed to the front lines because he's a gregarious and sociable person with a flask of whiskey that never runs out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, cool.
And the
Just
only
makes you see
problem
ghosts.
just makes you see ghosts while you're drunk.
If you get drunk. So yeah, and Cody's big thing, especially since he has realized the downside of this thing, but also the upsides. So a lot of his stuff is like as the sun is setting, and like a lot of the initial fighting that happens when the sun is up. He goes around and, like, where's your coffee? Yeah, let me just top you up a little here. And he's just, because he's a warrant officer first class, so he outranks all the enlisted men. And he makes friends. He talks with them, he cares for them, he checks up on them.
Right.
Yeah, well, and specifically for him, he's looking at, with this, it's all the Englishmen. But he's still looking for the locals, anybody who's not really conscripted, but anybody who stayed behind in Ypres and said, fuck it, I'm going to fight the Germans and is there as an irregular or something like that. He's checking in with them. Like, what do you need? Are you okay? Because that's his Bloom. So he's there to check up on people, and also night is when ghosts come out in his head, right? And he is more than happy to shoot and scare off ghosts. So that's kind of his like usual routine. So today though, he's going to be asking questions of, y'all seen anything out of the ordinary? And he really does throw on the y'all. Like he becomes the American like stereotype farm boy. trying to, get information or at least nudge people into being his lookouts.
Good thing. Makes sense to me.
Adelaide, do you
Mhm.
mind watching over me for a little while?
Sure.
As things turn towards evening and we're closer towards the front, gonna find a little, like, a relatively out of the way spot to get a little fire going. And then this is the ritual that you've seen before.
Yeah, we've done this before.
So as the fire is starting to go, Dorothy's gonna throw like just some wet trash on it to create a lot of smoke, and then sort of takes off her coat and sort of extends it over the fire and just leans into it. So she's making a little smoke cut, and then predictably she starts gasping and coughing, and then with a whoosh, the fire goes up and she sits up. I'm going to spend 4 plasm. So you, Adelaide, have 4 questions you may ask.
Roll?
Yeah, you want to roll for that, right?
Yeah, it'll be synergy plus.
Oracle synergy.
Synergy plus.
Are you plus Oracle?
Plus Oracle. Okay.
You can use a key on this if you like.
Yeah. I do not know how to do that in the sheet.
You will add a attribute.
Yeah, what keys do you have?
Oh, a manipulation to unlock my key of the Rising Waters or
Okay.
whatever it is. Good.
And when this is done, like, what am I talking to?
You were talking to Dorothy's ghost, effectively, but Dorothy's ghost has awareness for miles around, and you can ask for. I said 4.
Mm-hmm.
Can I spend 4 plasma?
Yes, over the.
It takes time, but yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, by unlocking the key, you get that many essence, or you get shit.
I've got it here. Free plasm equal to that attribute,
Yeah,
and
so
that
you
can
get 4
exceed
free
your plasm.
Yeah.
And so yeah, by unlocking it with that key, you get 4 plasm and can do it instantly.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So can I? And I'm not bound by restrictions there, so I can just add that on to the. So you have 8 questions to ask about. The front
No.
lines? Okay, so 4. I would use that in place of spending my own plasma.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And you get the doom condition unless you
Well,
spend a point of
We
willpower.
roll first.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
then-
right. Exceptional success. That's right. Yeah. Figured that out afterwards. That's right.
So we got 3 successes. So you can either take the doomed condition that goes with your key, or you can spend a point of willpower.
I think I will take the doomed condition that goes with my
Okay.
key.
All right. You said that was
Deep Waters. I have it here if you want me to read it.
Mhm.
Sure.
The next time your character would replenish her willpower, gain only 1 willpower, and resolve this doom.
Okay.
So that's going to sit with you for a while until you do your
Major
root or
Into-
root or bloom.
Or
The full one.
Or we do a dumb supper.
Also true.
Yeah. That is so yeah, you feel this kind of click in your soul as you're stuffed down underneath in the fumes and the smoke. And Adelaide, I think you smell that telltale stench of death and ectoplasm. And a depressed and sort of breathless Dorothy pulls herself back out, and you essentially get to ask questions of Dorothy's ghost, who has gained knowledge from the beyond, essentially.
Okay. So there's no like limit as to what it knows.
Sorry, I am learning this alongside.
Yeah, just trying to figure out like if there is a limit on what sort of question you can ask.
So there's the oracle questions are listed on page 308. And then because I have the 2-dot version, there's an additional 4, 5, another 8 questions that appear on page 115.
So that would be one of the plasm that you have, though, to do that. So you have 3 questions. If you use the plasm, you'll spend 1 plasm to get those.
Yeah, you spent your 4 free plasm to get 4 questions. If you want to spend one additional plasm of your own reserves, you can do the enhancement.
Yeah, then I will do that.
Okay. So yeah, it's things like what is the biggest threat to me and mine? Who is most in need of our aid? Who is guilty of crimes against the dead? What has been forgotten here? Stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna try to ask it like if there were any others like us in the area that we don't know about. Can you tell me that?
There's a question on 308 that says, what here is most touched by death?
Also, what is the range?
Several miles.
You essentially have turned your own ghost into an oracle, and you're channeling it.
Where's the second set of questions?
With the
115
condition.
and 308.
It's on what? 415?
115 and 308.
I got it in chat as well. And for like group purposes, I think probably can all be gathered for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because like I haven't looked at any of these at all and was not.
Yeah, I sort of sprung that on everybody. Sorry.
That's okay.
No worries.
Who is guilty of crimes against the dead? Seems to be a good one and goes towards what I'm trying to find.
Dorothy's mouth opens, and I think Adelaide has seen her probably do this before. We said that, right? And so in this familiar, like, crackled, like her voice has already kind of got that like old lady tone to it, and this is shredded by the smoke and everything like that, and it almost croaks like a frog, and she starts listing off a bunch of names in German. And
I'm
it
just gonna
goes
be writing
for a
it
while.
down. Yeah.
It goes for a while. There's probably 20 or 30 names.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna write down as many as I can follow along with. I feel like these are probably people in charge.
Oh, let's see.
Oh,
Do y'all have a choice?
yeah, I'm looking. I guess it's true.
But
We don't necessarily we have some broad use for these questions. So
Yeah, like I like what has been forgotten here, just as a thing to know, but I don't know if that's super useful right now for getting at what we're trying to find.
Cody kind of sits back because there's a question Cody always asks, but he's like, "Hang on, I'm gonna let everybody else investigate first, come up with anything important." But
Okay. So what's question 2?
And we're gonna ask a little clarity real quick, and we're of course consulting the oracle so we can gain more information about those deaths.
Or why we're being sent to the front line, like what is
Gotcha.
coming.
Okay, gotcha, cool. Thank you.
So if
Yes,
I may make a suggestion, there's who is most in need of our aid.
because that's the one Cody always asks.
because it like the sort of example answers here are not very clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I think this like just like almost like word vomit of German names isn't like but so helpful, but it does tell you something. And so
Yeah.
the answer here is that a breeze blows both ways. Protect yourselves and those who come to find you.
I feel like we've heard that one before. Actually, I mean, talking about defending ourselves, Dorothy, what's the biggest threat to me and mine?
And there's a bit of a snap in this like, why would you make me repeat myself? I said a breeze blows both ways.
And then Stafford says, if I can chime in with a little bit of poetic interpretation, I believe what they're suggesting is that those we will encounter will be as much a threat to us as they are some people we need to protect, and also that we could be a threat to ourselves in the course of whatever we end up doing.
Oh, I was just thinking about mustard gas being blown by a wind into our lines or onto their lines.
Fair enough. Suppose that's a more direct explanation.
The Cody Stafford relationship is already established.
The aura of the Oracle, I think, like, is giving off. Like, Stafford starts pontificating a little bit, and then you feel that is not what she said, and you remember that the runny nose.
Yeah.
From yesterday.
Yeah, I think the Germans are messing with mustard gas. Maybe something new?
Oh, God.
And to be fair, probably not just mustard gas, but...
Right. But for Cody, that's just the...
Yeah.
Oh.
They're using a proto-organophosphate insecticide.
Thank you, Ralph. Bring Stafford back.
Do we know if the Germans have a Geist unit?
You have seen hints of ghosts and soldiers with purposes that don't make sense, but you have not encountered enemy bound at this point.
Okay.
What if they're working on a Twilight version of mustard?
And we have a fourth question.
Mm-hmm.
Puppy dog.
I think it was 1 to get the condition and then three to get 3 questions.
Craig already spent the additional.
Oh, you said okay, gotcha. Cool.
Yes,
Yeah, I was going to go with what here has gone unseen. Is there something we're
Missed.
missing?
Her hand just points up to the edge of the trench, and said, "Dead in the muck, slow, oh so slow, but close, oh so close."
Okay.
And her eyes pop back to normal, and she kind of wakes up, and
Has a coughing spasm, I assume.
yeah, a bit of a coughing spasm. And you see off a little bit down the line someone turning on a searchlight.
Towards us or out towards the...
Out towards no man's land.
Gotcha. Yeah, so Cody like leans over, gives Dorothy a hug and that like kiss to the cheek that you give your grandmother and goes, "Thank you." And
Yeah, I
moving.
wanted to... What I wanted to be doing, I wanted to set up a boneyard.
Okay.
How long does that take?
Pretty sure it's based on plasm.
And just while we're looking that up, as an aside, there's a standing request from Dorothy that any skulls you recover, or heads you recover, come back to her.
It is an instant action to raise the boneyard.
Yeah, I want to do that. You just spend plasma to make it work, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you still have to roll synergy plus boneyard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every haunt needs to be activated with a roll of synergy plus haunt rating, and then
just like
and
Craig, you
unlock
can
key.
choose to use a key if you wish. What keys do you have, if you recall?
I wrote this somewhere.
If it has a resonance to the area, you can use it for free.
I have the key of chance and the key of cold wind.
Key of Cold Wind is resonant currently.
Okay, yeah, I'll use that one.
Sweet. No doomed. Hell yeah.
So you get to add resolve. So it'll be synergy, boneyard, and resolve.
And that'll give you 3 plasm from your resolve. You unlock it.
Okay, so I can unlock it and then spend the 3 to make it big. Is that how this works?
Mhm.
Okay, it's the size of a big house. So, yeah, I wanted to get like us and a little ways out into the no man's land around us.
Yep.
So I'd probably turn this on like approaching the trench.
That's good. Do you have
Boneyard 1.
Is this correct? 5?
That is correct. Boneyard and synergy plus 3 resolve.
sounds good. 4 successes, excellent. And so you how do you sort of imagine yourself channeling the boneyard? Especially with the cold wind.
It's very much like I feel like sort of casting is very much like a prayer.
Mhm.
Just sort of hands clasped in front of you and just praying and willing this into a sort of sanctified land.
Sure.
Like it's not from like any particular church, it is mine. But
If I can, especially with the cold wind, because the keys definitely add additional layers of flavor onto your
Yeah.
powers.
very much just like a
You think as you
chill breeze.
out,
Yeah.
and you just continue breathing for a while, and it's a little bit of almost like a smoke machine coming out of your mouth as it suffuses the area. And we will find out what's in the boneyard when we get back from our break.
Yay!
Ooh, shit.
More coffee time.
So go
Coffee
get yourself a drink
time.
or a snack or whatever. We're gonna go rehydrate ourselves, and we'll be back for some more spooky shit.
Spooky time.
YouTube, you won't even
Spooky.
notice us. Twitch guys will be back in just a sec. Yes. So when we left off, Adelaide had just breathed a nice cold breeze around to activate her boneyard. So the Bound's consciousness suffuses the haunted landscape. The walls imperceptibly shudder and shake as if they were breathing. Plasm in the environment seeps into inanimate objects, infusing them with a small amount of the Sin Eater's awareness and allowing them to move with a life of their own.
That's not going to freak out the boys in the trenches at all.
It's
I
fine.
know it did all that.
Oh yeah,
I
it
tried the
is-
part
it is-
about that lets you know what's going on in your land.
It's moving.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's visually spooky. Yeah.
All of your haunts are called haunts for a reason.
Mhm.
Well, if anywhere was going to be haunted, this would be it. So it tracks.
Yeah. So your effect here is that you gain perfect awareness of the layout and architectural details of the area they control. Characters within the boneyard cannot hide their presence or location from the Sin Eater. Supernatural beings attempting to use magic to hide themselves must make a clash of wills against the Bound. So let's go ahead and roll that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What am I rolling for that?
Synergy plus boneyard.
Energy plus boneyard.
It's not great. That's only
Nope.
2.
Wait.
Can I spend a willpower?
You absolutely can.
Actually, what's the
Clash of wills you are
duration?
here for, and
Hmm?
what's up?
What's the duration of boneyard? Because that would factor in, right?
Oh, that's a long time, right?
That is what I'm looking for. Oh, yeah, it's probably in the haunt condition.
Oh, that's fucked.
Actually, It doesn't have a duration as long as you're in the area. Because it ends when
Okay.
you leave,
When
fall
you leave
unconscious, or
Area,
die.
or if you're confronted with your Geist, Ban, or Bane.
Okay, so I'm just gonna roll 5.
Why don't you take a +3 to it?
Well, then.
I don't know
Pretty good.
what.
That's right.
Okay, this thing looks weird to me.
Is it because it's in dark mode?
Maybe.
Yeah,
What
dark.
else he says? Adelaide Martin rolls 2.
Fine.
6. Rolling 6
Fine.
equals 6. Okay, yes. Now I can see all the words that make this make sense.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm a bad DM and haven't given myself macros yet, so
Oh no.
just have this and 1 success, so you definitely win.
Okay.
Yeah, you are aware there are several, by several I mean 10, there are, well, you know explicitly, there are 15 beings which takes your awareness a second to get around what you're seeing, what you're sort of understanding. They appear to be ghosts with bodies.
But not bound.
Or possessing? Or like just ghosts that are solidly here.
Possessing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna
They
relay
do
that
not
to
feel like bound.
gonna relay that to Cody, especially because he's the one who took off. Just-
Yeah, and yeah, you shout this up to Cody, and Cody, as you kind of crest over top of the edge of the trench to get a look, you see as the spotlight turns to kind of drag across this area because they saw something happen. You see this thing in the shape of a body, but bloated and hideous as the sun, as the light crosses across it, and as it drags across a bit of barbed wire, it starts leaking like a balloon with a small hole in it, and you suddenly smell burning chemical smell on the air.
Oh,
Cool.
okay.
And at that moment, sensing that the jig is up, these things push up off the ground, and what were the? We played Left 4 Dead, you know, the belcher
Mm-hmm. Boomers.
types. Yeah, it's got that vibe.
Ooh.
Like, these are like
Ooh.
bloated, inflated corpses,
The boomers.
leaking gas and charging
Into our line.
into your line.
A Diablo 2 corpulent.
Mm-hmm. All my favorites.
And down the line, you see that some men have popped up and have riddled one with holes, and it falls down into the trench and just pops.
Spewing gas over me.
Shit. I mean, I can put a condition on them. Can I try to
Oh,
make
no.
them shaken?
Yeah, so each one of those will be a roll. Or rather an instant action.
Yeah, basically, I want to try to find whichever one is in front and slow it down.
Okay.
It's Synergy and Boneyard again to try to
Yep.
impose a condition. They get to contest it though.
Yeah, they roll composure plus
Composure
synergy.
and synergy.
Nope.
Okay, so yeah, just the one, whichever one was first gets shaken.
Okay. And in line with the boneyard, it like this blast of cold air hits it, and the gas is blown back in a big streaming, almost like when someone lights a flare, and it's that big like pillared blast of smoke kind of shooting off, and it is being blown away and slowed down, and they're like empty of feeling or malice or anything. They're just sort of stuck there. Let's go ahead and roll initiative.
All right.
And just an FYI, because you unlocked that haunt with a key, it doesn't look like it works for Clash of Wills, but on these subsequent using Boneyard, you get to continue to use your dexterity or resolve, whatever you use to unlock it with.
Chris, how long is Crowgirl's Kiss take to use? Is it a ritual?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, I got a 10.
Nice.
Yes. You know what's about to happen?
I just click.
You just click initiative.
It'll do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know what's about to happen.
You better. I'm over here and I'm going to be yelling at these folks. You need to handle that problem out there.
Yep. You know what's about to happen, because I am going to read for you the key of blood, or an important thing from the key of blood. Resonance. When situations spiral out of control, the key of blood is at its strongest. If the bound finds himself in a violent situation that wasn't premeditated or intended, the resonance of the key applies.
Oh, trust me, I have two of them.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't understand this number.
The 6,
Mm-hmm.
you rolled a 1, and then you added your 5. So you have a total of 6.
Yeah, but I have 3 points and fast reflexes as well.
Oh, go to your settings, and there should be a fast reflexes spot at the bottom, and you will add that. You'll bump that up to 3. So in this case, you have a 9.
Okay, and it says initiative 5 on the bottom of my page, but
because that is your +5 bonus.
Okay.
Now it says 8.
All right, good.
Need an initiative from Craig.
Right. I don't need to click a token or anything.
Nope. Oh, I have to go third.
Way to go.
Sweet.
Cool. Yeah, so around you, people have popped up in a horror, and it's kind of like a line across 100 yards or so that they're approaching.
Mm-hmm. Going for widespread damage kind of thing.
You'll only have to contend with a couple of them, not just all immediately, at least. For the sake of things and stuff like that. And you can hear various reactions of horror and the ways people respond to fear, either violence or flight, and especially as the gas starts blending down into the trenches and stuff like that. It'll be wild. Stefford.
All right, so what happens is the audience can see Stefford put on a kind of cynical smile because he's shocked so quickly, and his eye, the silver shards appear in his irises again. Because in this particular situation, right, there's no way he could possibly refuse Jagged Shard's desire to vent his rage. And so, as Stefford's instant action for his turn, he's going to vent the rage. He's going to unlock the Key of Blood, because because I believe it's resonant here, considering it's an unexpected violent situation. But you can tell me if I was wrong in assuming that.
You're very correct.
All right, excellent. And then let's see. I think that's correct. So I synergy, and then I also click presence.
And I have a picture for y'all as well.
Oh, sweet. So what he's going to do is he's going to, because he has 3 points in rage, he's going to take advantage of Maelstrom. I'm going to roll, see what happens, but I am going to declare that he's going to enhance it with 2 plasm for, so that his next attack is not just a ranged attack, but it's also a medium burst auto fire attack. So there's going to be a tremendous flood of rage and a discordant howl erupting from his body, and improvised items and anything that's shard shaped and jagged that's around him is going to get pushed towards the oncoming horde to rend them. So let me roll. I think this is right. Resonance rage, excellent. Normal. Come on, it's resonant. Give me that 3 successes. No mods. Yes! That's an exceptional success, baby! Means to get some plasma back. So I'm going to spend total of 2 net plasm, because I get 4 free from unlocking the Key of Blood.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spend 2 for the enhancement to increase it.
Black iron.
Yep. Let's see. I get Black Iron Blade. Oh, you know what? I'll spend a total of 4 plasm. Wait, no, I can't. I can only spend 3.
You can spend 3 outside of your, because you use the key.
Yeah.
How many dots in the key do you have?
I have 3 dots in the key.
3.
Yeah.
So you have 3 plasma you get for free, which don't count against your spending limit.
Okay, gotcha.
And then because you have synergy 3, you can also spend an additional 3 of your own storage.
Yeah.
If you wish.
Yeah, I would just
So you could spend up to 6 total on this in one turn.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, including the free?
Including the free.
Yeah,
Okay.
the free
Gotcha.
bypass.
So yeah. Meaning that
Which
I spend
would-
those.
You'd be maxing it out right now.
Yeah, it was observing that with Black Iron Blade, I could inflict a status condition in addition to the medium burst auto fire. But so I'm not going to be able to use both enhancements. That's what I confirmed. So.
What?
Right? Because my synergy allows me to spend 3 in the turn. And then unlocking the key allows me to spend for free an amount equal to the attribute linked to it, right?
So 6.
So did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, so you've got
that means
6.
So that's 6, right? Or 6? What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you
I'm
only
confused.
took the rage. I did not grok that you only took 3 dots of rage.
Oh, gotcha. Because you only have 3, right?
Yes.
I just want to make sure I did. Did I make a mistake? I understood that
Nope,
aspect.
you're
of the
good.
rule.
No, it's fine. It just means
Okay.
you only have the 1 haunt.
Oh, yes, exactly. I only have the 1 haunt. Yeah, that's right. So
You're good.
I spent my 2 plasm.
Choose how you wish to spend. And you're
Yep,
good.
cool, great. Yeah, so the I can spend 2. I could spend 3, but I don't have really anything to spend it on. So I spend 2 plasm to make my next ranged attack a medium burst auto fire attack.
Okay. And that comes from Maelstrom.
Yes, comes from Maelstrom. Yes, the enhancement Maelstrom. Exactly.
Yep.
Cool. And I'll move close enough so that I can get the medium burst to encompass as many of the approaching corpulents as possible. And of course, I'll leave that up to you to adjudicate what makes sense.
I
Thank
would say y'all are engaged with 3 of them.
Okay, cool. Works for me.
In close enough range for it to matter.
All right, excellent.
And yeah. So how does this look as this rage overtakes you? Especially with Key of Blood.
Yeah, with the Key of Blood. So let's see. You know when someone looks incredibly frustrated, right, and they tense all their muscles, right, and there's a lot of prominent vascularity.
Mhm.
Well, especially when the Maelstrom occurs and he's enhancing the rage and the Key of Blood appears, is you can see the blood in his vessels. So it doesn't look like blood is erupted from his flesh, but
Sure.
it looks as though his blood vessels are now translucent. and so you can see the blood flowing all over him. When he plants himself and vents the rage, and the maelstrom is appearing, it looks like what would be cool?
I mean, pulling on your Geist, there's bloodied shards of mirrors sort of floating around his fists.
That sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. I like that. We'll go with that.
Cool. And then you sort of have climbed up and positioned yourself on the edge, or are you waiting for them to come down, or?
No, prepared to engage this burst.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
Yep.
We'll hit you back on the next round.
Sounds good to me. Yep.
You'd think that 2 monitors would be enough to run a game. But
No, you definitely need like 4. Yeah.
I feel like I could have 12 and still run out of space.
So, Craig.
Okay. I don't remember specifically. Just for flavor, Dorothy yells out, but her voice is noticeably different. This is the voice of a battlefield commander in the midst of a fight, with a slightly with a noticeably masculine tone, and she yells out, "Geist or masks or clear the trench," and then she unshoulders her rifle, which notably has a much longer bayonet than the standard issue, and she'll climb up out of the trench and rush forward to the closest one of these.
Sure.
I'm gonna lean on her Geist for weaponry 3.
Oh, okay.
Remembrance trait. How long does that last?
Scene, I think.
See.
Is that right? Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
And do I mark it off temporarily and then?
And you gain the Echoes condition.
Just,
Is it?
You're bad at doing that thing in the future.
Okay. So weaponry, and strength. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I? Q doesn't apply to mundane rules like that, right? Okay. So let's see what I can do. I'll do 3 willpower. Ooh.
Remember defense though.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. These things are not defending.
Mhm.
They have a goal, and them getting pierced is a good thing. So
Yes. Yeah, and Dorothy's goal is just to pierce it as far away from the trench as possible.
yeah, so you scramble up, action grandma, and just like completely go to stab this thing as you would, like I think in the heat of the moment, as you would a living soldier, right? Thinking that one stab and put him down, and you just go straight through it. The inflated corpse and chest cavity just like caves in, and this big burst of cloud just pours out of this thing as it crumples and falls to the ground. And as the smoke both like washes over you, you have a moment where you see this shriveled husk of a ghost, like essentially sitting inside of its own corpse.
Oh.
And I need you to roll. What do we roll for? Is it just straight up stamina for toxic stuff?
Double stamina,
Double stamina.
I believe. I'm double checking. Sources of harm. Poison character rolls stamina plus resolve minus toxicity each time the poison inflicts damage.
Okay. So it is going to be -3.
I'll spend a willpower to cancel out that -3.
Cool. Okay.
Cool.
Each success reduces damage by 1.
What's the toxicity?
Would have been 3.
Okay, so down to 1. Okay. Is that lethal or aggravated?
Is lethal.
Dorothy started yelling gas, gas, gas. That kind of was his initial plan, but if that's already handled,
I mean, she kind of just yelled it. If you want to try and like
actually,
command,
yeah.
like as an action, like get people to do something, then that could be a role.
Yeah, that's true. That is what I'm debating back and forth on. Actually, yeah, for the folks who are staying behind, either because they're throwing on masks or they're just not leaving, I think he's actually going to exhort them into dropping these things before they get to the trenches. And yeah, still going to be a kind of command thing.
I think you can roll.
I was leaning into empathy, if that's okay.
Okay.
And just see, like,
I mean, it's this. Yeah, empathy is fine.
Yeah,
Intimidation's also fine.
Yeah, to use the reference you made earlier, this is the Gandalf move, right? Of like, it's cool, we got this. Don't mind the flying shards of mirror out there. It's okay, we have this. And kind of relying on the idea that he's a guy who's been in the trenches, they've seen him, kind of thing. Yeah. And nope, none of my specializations apply. Cool. So yeah, just ye old presence plus empathy. For 2 successes.
Okay. Yeah, I think you notice you have just out of your corners of your eye, you noticed you have an effect on them. They stand a little straighter, they get those gas masks on, and they start firing. And you see a couple of these things dropping before they really get within range of
right
getting to the boys.
Exactly.
Hey, with your boneyard, can you control the weather in the area?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Not yet.
Can you have like a chilling breeze sweep the gas away from our lines or anything?
I can affect the things in the area, the
Just small
people.
poltergeist things. It specifically calls out you can't do anything that would actually cause damage, but if someone has their hand in a garbage disposal,
Mm-hmm.
But you could, for example, raise like a berm between us and the gas.
Not
right?
yet.
No.
you can
okay.
knock a coffee cup off a table.
Right.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
little poltergeisty things.
Cool,
4
okay,
dots.
stuff. Yeah, okay.
4 dots, you get the earthquake weather.
Yeah.
And now you're doing some shit.
Yeah. Cool. And if you want to take a shot, I'm cool with that.
Oh, okay. Do.
Yeah, Dorothy has caved one in and is surrounded by gas, and you've got 2 other like bearing down on you and Stefford at this sort of juncture of the trenches.
And here's the best thing. I don't have to worry about defense. I got a Lee Enfield rifle, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Only 6 successes?
Only with the 4 damage on it.
You you pull the trigger and it hits right in the kneecap and bolt and pull and hit the other kneecap, and this thing just drops in just like
Stay up there.
deflates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Awesome.
Adelaide.
Okay, I was looking at my ability. I don't know if I can use Marionette on these things. I think that might be too big. It says you can use the number of plasm spent in size.
So 5 size is people size.
Yeah, I need to spend 5 plasm, which I can't. It says cost 1 to 3.
Yeah, there's a add-on later that lets you do bigger objects.
Okay, so I could only spend more if I had a valuable key, and I don't know that the key of chance applies here.
And notably, you would still be limited to the 1 to 3.
Yeah, the power itself is limited at this point until you get an enhancement. Because Marionette has...
It's the
think you need 3 dots. Yeah, unless you do 2 times plasma spent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so it
Oh,
becomes a free
Marionette
enhancement
plus
Marionette
2x. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's wild. You can
So
get
at that
big
point,
things.
1 plasm would give you human
Shout out
size?
to Brene. Caster has done big things with this.
Yeah, but up until that, you can do, like, the second one lets you throw multiple objects.
Mhm.
They still have to be small.
But I mean, size 3 is
That's a sword. Like, that's a
so,
rifle.
yeah, that's a rifle or a sword or something. You can straight up just like
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, can I
launch a bayonet like a spear.
like throw something at it to hit it?
Mhm.
Because I don't
Yeah,
have any
for sure.
weapon abilities.
Adelaide draws back her little nurse coat, and there's just old knives and bayonets just tucked in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely a thing.
That's more that we are on a battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
There is an unattended scrap piece of metal that is about to fling itself at this one remaining guy.
Excellent.
I like the aesthetic though of having a like an iron skirt underneath your nurse's skirt. You're not hurting any of my patients.
Yeah, so you can roll synergy plus marionette.
And I'm going to spend a willpower. Two successes?
Okay.
I don't know what the damage would be on this.
It activates. Well, it activates, right? So you string it up,
Okay, yeah.
and then I'll go ahead and let you.
Technically,
It's an instant action to grab an object with it, so.
and then the enhancement that you to fling multiple objects is a reflexive action.
She only has 1 dot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Shutting up. Sorry.
Cool. So yeah, you sort of you can flavor how you do it specifically, but there is a tangible, actual marionette string of ectoplasm from you to a big scrap of sharp metal, and you're like, I'm imagining like winding it up like fucking getting ready to throw it essentially,
Like a bull roar.
Yeah. Excellent.
And can I attack with it this turn? If it's an instant action to grab it?
Me come back to you because I did make Ralph wait too, with the full instant action on that on the power activation. But yeah, this thing is like hovered up over your shoulder, ready to be ghostly yeeted. And I'm just going to pull a thing out of Blades in the Dark and tell y'all that I've got a clock.
Sure.
And 1 out of 4 sections is now Bill.
Sure.
As these things get closer and you start hearing some screams as like on either side down towards the end, they've started getting in and hurting some folks. But especially the ones that could like hear Drew's orders seem to be doing okay. And they're taking out a couple in the fields and stuff like that. Back to Ralph.
Ready. Cool. So, fortunately with Maelstrom, you can make attacks from 30 yards away. So, as soon as he's able to see them, right? Yeah, the channeled Maelstrom that was at his call before, he unleashes. And jagged, scintillating shards from the muck rise up and fly towards them. So let me make an attack.
There are 3 targets you can hit currently.
Sweet. Excellent. And that's what a medium burst will do. So hell yeah. Get +2 on this. And I spent 4 to activate the rage, so I could count
Plus 2, but then it gives you a -1 per extra target. So essentially washes out.
Oh, really?
Mhm, that's what a short burst does. You can either get the +3 or multiple targets. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Maybe I misunderstood what a medium burst does. Then.
I might be wrong.
I'm pulling it up real quick.
Because now I had to learn what a short burst was a lot for.
Oh, I
this
see.
spell.
Yeah. -1 penalty per target after the first.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it could wash out. Okay, that's totally fine.
But you get to make free.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's okay with me. Happy to do it. Alrighty. So do that, and then I get to roll with Plasm. So brawl is currently 4. Dex brawl. I'll roll 3 attacks. Let me check one thing. Oh, does it cost extra actions to enhance the power again?
It's a
to
reflexive action to add an
Sweet.
enhancement.
Okay, great. Then I will, for 2 Plasm, add another enhancement. Add Black Iron Blade.
Can you add it when you already have it going?
Enhancements
you
are
can-
added as a reflexive action.
Upon
you can add-
activation, because Boneyard specifically calls out that you can add them on to an active Boneyard.
Oh, really? I thought it was something you can do each time. Like,
Let me see.
yeah. I mean, in the specific entry for
Enhancements,
the
unless
enhancement.
otherwise specified, enhancements may be added to an already active haunt.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Sweet. So I will add Knockdown because that's what
Okay.
we want to do. Stop them from getting close.
Sounds good.
So even if I succeed in hitting them and I don't kill them immediately, then you get knocked down. Alrighty, so 3 attacks. So I spent that extra plasma. Get it. Some back. And I'll roll 3 attacks. Is it clicked correctly? Roll. There we go. Great. First one. Oh, do they have a what's their defense?
Armbat.
All right, sounds good. 1 attack. Sweet. Second attack. Ooh, yeah, it's good. This one. Cool. And so the damage is, because of the raised condition, I think is strength plus 4. So it's 5 base damage.
Okay.
Yep. So
Good
I guess
enough.
that's sweet. Yep. And knockdown. There we go.
These things are not particularly hardy.
I feel like they're
Cool.
designed to explode.
Designed to explode. Yes, correct.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so these like bloody shards of mirrors, you sort of just punch out with them, and I think they mix with the cold wind blowing through the boneyard, and shit has gotten extra spooky at this point. As they just rip through these 3 abominations, and big plumes of gas start pouring up, and it's interesting because you've seen gas and it is normally heavier than air, and some of this is being lifted away and signaled and stuff like that. And
let's see if I can make a kind of discordant howl.
Yelling weird shit is a free action.
Sweet. Did you hear that? Or did that- okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
It was mostly muffled.
It made a sound.
All right.
There you go.
It
Your
was a
mic is
thing.
trying very hard to not let it
Yeah,
happen.
it's like,
Oh,
we,
yeah?
we
Right.
refuse.
All right. I could hear it.
An attempt was made.
No worries. It's fine. Yeah, we're moving on. Imagine I did something cool, everybody.
YouTube
In my
might
head,
hear
it's
it.
awesome.
Oh, Craig. Sorry.
Yeah, Dorothy, you are a little disoriented, completely enveloped in opaque yellow gas, coughing a little bit, but having withstood the effects so far. What are you doing?
I am. So, having learned from her first, not mistake necessarily, first experience, can she cut the legs out from one, as opposed to setting off a full blown explosion? Is that a combat option?
You
Okay.
charging? You kind of push through enough to be able to see and spot your next one and charge off.
I'm kind of wondering if I should be engaging a shroud here to avoid the lethal chemical
So-
damage.
It's helpful. If you're
Um,
close enough, nah, there's no downside.
Is that an instant action or is that?
I think activating all
Okay.
haunts are in its action.
All right.
Yeah.
So she, in the midst of the coughing, she's just kind of, and then vomits out plasm that just sort of flows out and around and coats her.
Oh, gotta roll first.
Good. Gotta roll.
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool. You literally don't need to eat, sleep, or breathe.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember that being the stealthy one, but okay. Yeah, that is.
And later I can fly. So Shroud and Synergy, we'll see if that works. Seems important. I'll throw willpower at it.
Sure.
No. Is critical failure a thing here?
Ooh.
They all have explicit ones for it.
Yeah.
I think I will take one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good time.
You go forward to vomit forth this plasm to give yourself a shield, and I think the Centurion, having just seen you breathe in this poison, does not allow this. Doesn't want to protect you. Doesn't want to have to deal with that poison. Instead, has a better idea of how to protect you, and that plasm just sort of goes all the way around you, and he pulls you through that connection that you have, like body spiritual connection, and you just feel a yank and a little pop, and suddenly the world around you is through a dark tinted haze.
Oh shit.
Everything feels like a copy of a copy or a reflection through a mirror.
So am I in Twilight?
You are in Twilight for the rest of the scene.
Okay.
He was much nicer than the dramatic failure state of the shroud.
Yeah, it's it will kill you.
Hey, what?
Yeah, the
It says
dramatic,
the dramatic failure is the plasm solidifies on your face. You can't see, hear, or breathe, and you will suffocate unless you clear the ooze away.
Oh, you said
take an
Shroud.
instant
I was
action.
reading Call.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, it's a
that
shroud.
was sounding very familiar.
You're just choking on the ooze, and then you can pull it out. I mean,
Yeah,
you
it's
lose
not
an
bad.
action. So yeah.
One way or another, you're out of the action for a round.
I like mine better.
Yeah,
That's fine. I'm good.
call
with
is better, Anna.
All right, I was sitting there reading the Call the whole time. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Good stuff.
And that's my
They're-
action,
They like
presume?
almost the same, right?
Yeah, and it still
that is-
spends
that is
your
turn.
plasm.
Yeah, so I think Cody, you see you're next, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you see Grandma Dottie run across, getting ready to like swoop up on somebody, and that plasm like goes over her face, and then suddenly she just gets and you can see in Twilight.
Yep.
And you just see her looking around, trying to get her bearings. You're like, God damn it.
Well, I can see the target a bit easier now. Thanks, Dorothy.
The boys that were all sort of pushing up and engaging with these things don't see her,
Right.
and just see her get yanked away with some ghostly shit and start screaming horrifically.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna put on his officer voice. He's been practicing. But his focus here is actually, hang on. Do we have any immediate like targets in the cone? Kind of
Sort of
Ahead of us.
in y'all's territory,
Mhm.
no, but
Okay.
like close enough still to be engaged with. Yes,
Okay.
like the point is you can start helping others. to-
right. No, in
to
that
make
case,
the effects of the attack less bad.
right. Cody is less concerned about telling them to calm down and keep firing.
Right.
He's just going to be like, all right, that's going to be a problem for later. And he's just going to keep firing.
So, anyways, you keep blasting.
Yep. Oh, dexterity and firearms is already selected. Sweet. 1 for socialization.
Cool.
Blah.
Yeah, you hit one like right in the dome.
Yep. But he's making that shot, and he's going to start moving down towards.
Sounds great. Yeah, I think at this point, like, more than half of them have been taken out, both by y'all and by the rest of the boys.
Right.
Sweet.
Adelaide.
Yeah, I'm just very quickly moving down the line. I want to try to attack. I don't know what the range on this is. Like, how far can I throw this?
The thing moves at a speed equal to your synergy plus marionette. So it moves kind of on the slow side until you throw it. At which point range is as a thrown weapon.
Yeah, I don't have any weapons, and I don't know what the stat I would be using is to attack with.
Synergy plus marionette. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it that?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find range for thrown weapons. Armor, melee.
Add dex to it because I think it's cool. I think you're doing a cool thing, and I want you to succeed at it.
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and roll this, and then we can figure out what the stats on this piece of shrapnel are.
And then generally, these things are set up to die in one hit, so it's fine.
Makes sense.
Nope. So yeah, I feel like it's probably just very
Almost like a frisbee toss, and it comes up a little short, and you're just like, shit. All right. I will say, as you run towards that one side, you do see that towards the side that I'm going to say you split off to cover ground, and so Dorothy and Cody are off to one side, and you've kind of gone together. The side you have gone to has been a little worse for wear, and you can see some people like stumbling to put on gas masks while this death gas has been seeping down into the stuff near you. So an option for heroics and healing and stuff like that in the future for you.
Cool.
And that's everybody for the round, right?
Mm-hmm. Adelaide is last before the baddies.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I will tick off another box on my clock, and at this point, the ones that had been slowed down and stuff like that are now approaching the edges of the trench. People are starting to have to make choices about jumping down into the trench and backing off, or going in with bayonets and stuff, and finding out the hard way that that's not maybe the best idea.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's starting to be a lot more chaos. Zephyr.
All right. You know what he's up to. Do it again. Yeah.
Blasting through that plasm, huh?
Last. Yep. He is going to spend 2 more to enhance for a medium burst.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to fire off 3 attacks. Just to be 4. First one. Ooh, yeah. Second one. Here we go.
Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you notice that Cody has gone one way, and I think naturally go the other, and you just sort of almost this like sweeping like undercut sort of thing, like almost like a fucking like airbender move, and just this like low sling
Shard bender.
like Yeah. This low slinging like blast of glass just flies down like just above the trenches where all these things are like getting ready to like crawl down on. Some of them have like lost legs and stuff like that. They're like just mindlessly sort of crawling forth.
Yeah, I bet.
Tear them smithereens.
Sweet. Is done.
Dorothy.
Welcome out of Twilight.
Greg. You're in Twilight.
Yeah. So can I see ghosts here?
Yeah, I mean, you can
You
see
always
ghosts at
see
all
ghosts.
times. Yeah.
I mean, like, can I interact with the ghosts that are driving these corpses?
Yeah, I would say from your perspective in Twilight, because I mean you do naturally see both, but from this perspective, I think you more see the ghosts rather than the bodies, and
Okay.
you can see that they have been essentially stitched inside of the bodies.
God,
That's
terrible.
unfortunate.
Crimes against the dead.
Yep,
Yep.
So
This-
there's as much a victim here as
this is an actual ceremony written into the Dark Era. It's
Oh,
fucked.
shit. Whoa. That's terrible.
Welcome to World War
Um,
One.
Is there a quick way for me to see if I can undo that stitching? Or is it just, am I going to have to kill these ghosts?
Well, killing a ghost is not as dramatic a thing.
Yeah,
Right, but Dorothy would see these things as victims.
yeah. Attacking them would break the stitches, and they'd be able to like sort of reform if they got essence and stuff. And you have the idea that it would essentially stop them from piloting the corpse. If you want to do a non-violent way, I am open to hearing what you want.
We said something about World War One being terrible,
Yeah.
and that was the last thing I heard.
Yeah. Dorothy tried to make a strength plus crafts roll.
A combat crafts roll.
Combat crafts, combat knitting to
Nice.
unstitch this ghost.
Oh hell yeah!
She failed though.
Oh yeah.
Alright, do you want to take a dramatic failure?
Which
I'm
second
tempted.
one?
It was
That was
second one.
Yeah.
Not really double down on this.
I am tempted.
Do it.
Entice me.
Do it. Yeah.
I will let you free this ghost.
This is absolutely leading into advocate. That is absolutely something that Dorothy would do.
Okay.
So I'll take the dramatic failure in exchange for freeing the ghost.
The ghost is free. The
And
dramatic
Dorothy's
failure is you are no longer free. You are now essentially this thing you go and you cut that first stitch and this thing just like turns its head all the way around.
And
And in German-
and,
In German, I will tell Craig what it says. It said, "Why would you stop me from my glorious purpose?" And then grabs you by both wrists and just like pulls you like yanking you into a coat, like a straight
Sure.
jacket, yanks you into this corpse. And you personally are still in Twilight, but you are sort of locked in this, attached to this thing now.
do I have control over this thing?
No,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that might be a
on-
clash
it's
of
on a
wills
bit of an
later.
autopilot at this point.
I'm a ghost puppet inside
yeah,
of a
go
puppet.
ahead and make a clash of wills for me.
Oh,
actually.
sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
That'll be synergy plus what? What am I rolling? Just synergy?
You know, I had this thought earlier when I was reading the rules, and I never figured it out.
Synergy plus manipulation. I mean, she does do the whole.
How about because
Hundreds of
it's a team,
percent.
Resolve.
how about because it's a team effort, synergy plus rank of your Geist, which is
Sure.
3. Or you have Dread Geist of 4. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
Only one.
So am I in control?
You are in control.
Guess where I'm going.
It's probably very awkward.
Yeah, Cody.
Gambling?
From your perspective, you see this happen because you can look into Twilight and you just, what the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing in there? Get out of there!
and I'm guessing you turn and run away.
Run towards the German
Okay.
line, yeah.
Okay. Oh, good. Oh boy.
Yeah. This
By
is why
German
Chris
line,
didn't
you mean
write
the
any
German
notes.
soldiers
Oh my
or the
God.
corpulents?
What's up?
Well, the corpulents are going to take any damage from the gas.
All right.
So I'm thinking
Gonna gas them with their own.
I'm going to gas them with their own weapon as a way to
I would
dissuade.
say you realize that the gas has been essentially cooking this corpse from the inside out caustically. That
Okay.
you've got a couple rounds of running. You are not going to make it all the way to the German lines.
Okay, then I'm just getting as far away from our boys as I can.
Find a nice little foxhole to just drop yourself into and just leave this body here.
Yeah, like a little depression or artillery shell.
Yeah,
Crater.
in sort of this very weird way of you being in Twilight but stuck physically inside this thing, you notice a couple things of how this thing is put together. And you notice that and you can kind of feel them in this very weird way because you've essentially been fettered, right? Like you've got control, but you're essentially fettered. And you can tell that there's a gas mask that is stitched onto the face of the corpse. And deep in the pit of your stomach, you feel this solid bulge, and you realize that it's the gas canister, and literally just a canister they've shoved inside this thing. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, this ritual's fucked.
Yeah.
As soon as I read it, I'm like, I'm doing this like episode 1, baby.
Set
Having,
the tone.
leaned into my advocate route at
Yeah.
great risk to myself.
Oh yeah, you can refill all of your stuff.
Well,
but you've
one
got the doom
willpower,
condition, so you get one.
But I will, I'll clear the
Yeah.
doom condition and
Excellent.
Nice.
classic Dorothy.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got here, but I'm here.
Cool. Cody.
Yeah, there was a moment where Cody was like bringing up the rifle to just like shoot the body, and it's like, oh no, I see what she's doing. Okay, all right, because
I
Cody
can just imagine the debrief later. How did you manage to be in control of one? Like, I have no idea.
no, it just worked out.
What are we supposed to say about
Yeah.
it?
And Cody is very like, as we mentioned at the start, is very kind of chill about people dying. It's not a pleasant thing, but he's never like tried to save any Geist, any Bound's life. It's like, no. There's living people here. Maybe the right ghost he'll try to save, but like Bound dying, sorry, man.
We'll get back up again. It's
Yeah.
fine.
And it's like somebody else will die, but everybody dies. So
Everyone's dying here.
Someone else will die on this battlefield.
Yeah.
And actually the comment about trying to stop grenades is like, actually, if I die once, one person dies, but all the people I save from the grenades survive. It's a numbers game, guys. Yep.
math.
It's just math. Don't ask Cody to actually do math. Like
Not too many knocks to the head.
he's charging down through the trench line, and just kind of nudging people back. Anybody who doesn't have a mask, he's doing just one of those little tugs, just like get
Okay.
the fuck out.
Roll against the poison because you are actively in clouds of it at this point.
And that was what did we say? Stamina plus resolve.
Mhm.
All right.
-3.
I don't need to add firearms to that. There we go. Okay.
Okay, that's 3 lethal damage.
Indeed.
You're accomplishing your goals here. You're pulling people out. You're doing some big damn hero shit, sir. But yeah, you are coughing and spitting and sputtering, and this is not just mustard gas that you felt earlier. This is there's some chlorine and stuff in there. You feel,
So am I actually, is Cody recognizing this is the stuff he saw before, or this is something more than the last time he died? Cool. Hollering at...
That was just a fucked up death to make sure they made a ghost.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adelaide.
Okay, I am on the side with Stafford, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna let him fight the things, because much better at it.
Seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, 3 at a time, it's fine. So I'm gonna start trying to pull people out of the trenches and administer medical aid to the ones that are starting to choke.
Give me a wits medicine just to do quickly and more
And have a
diagnosis and stuff.
specialization in emergency medicine.
Yeah, that's perfect. Ooh. 4 successes. Yeah, you are quick and efficient. I'm gonna keep laying to this Angel of Mercy sort of thing. As you, much like Cody, you're kind of quickly diving into the.
And do I roll versus the poison?
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Question about that. Well, not question. Statement about that. Was just looking at plasmic healing to double check. It does bypass the per turn limit exemption, so I'm burning 3 to just from these into bashing wounds.
Sounds good.
It's resolved stamina -3. I'm gonna spend a willpower to just cancel that. Where is it? What?
There it is. Okay, so 1 success means you take 2. 2 lethal. But yeah,
Okay.
you are very efficient at diving in. I mean, you've got to breathe to be able to get in there and do it. But you are actively saving lives.
See, an advocate is my bloom, so that's dealing with the living, right?
You may refill your willpower.
Okay, cool.
And with that, I think y'all are quickly wrapping up the rollable parts of the scene. So I think Dorothy, you trudge and after a few yards of trying to make this thing sprint, you realize that it is just collapsing in on itself and falling apart, and you sort of
Find a hole and fall down.
Yeah, find a hole and fall down, and this cloud starts just billowing up out of you, and thankfully most of it washes away as you sit there in this moment of well, it's in the title, right? It's a moment of eerie quiet on the Western Front.
He said the thing. He said the thing.
As you're sort of lying on your back in this collapsed corpse from the twilight, and as the smoke finally clears and you see it is actually a relatively clear night, and you have a brief moment of impromptu stargazing as you
I'm presuming the belt of ectoplasm around me is still there, and the Centurion's like holding my leash.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. So just look up at him and, well, let's get back. You couldn't let me cross over again at some point?
I will permit it. You have proven yourself a valiant soldier.
Just trying to protect my boys.
Good.
And they'll trudge back in Twilight, I guess, and then once she's out of sight
I think the end of the scene for you is that quiet moment with your Geist just like a bit of acceptance and
Yep.
a bit of a lot unspoken, right? I think on both of your parts.
Yeah.
As you look at the stars and wind down, and the rest of three of you bark some orders and gets what's up?
I was going to say, Jagged Shards of Silvered Censure does not want his rage or their rage to abate. Its rage to abate. And so is going to try and eat ghosts.
Okay.
Yeah. So is going to try to render any of the remaining ghosts helpless, or any that are, and engage in ectophagia.
They are toe up from the flow up by this whole ritual process. They're hanging by a thread. They essentially
Great.
get like both the corpse and the ghost are thin. They're barely a snack for you. Basically, you get one essence per, or one ectoplasm per ghost.
Okay, gotcha. How many can I eat?
How horrific do you want to be?
Yeah, I know.
How many of these bloated corpses do you want to have people see you standing over?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Jagged Shards hungers.
Right.
Stefford doesn't want him to eat any of them.
Right.
Because like what happened to them is horrible.
Right.
But Jagged Shards is like, well, you could have resisted it. In his mind, they deserve his silvered censure.
I think. Well, let me ask this: Do you eat at least one?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think in this moment, Stefford is not able to
intimately become familiar that each of these ghosts was willing to undergo this process.
Oh, really? Oh.
Also,
All right.
you do know that ectophagia causes synergy loss.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha. Permanent synergy loss?
1 dot per rank consumed.
Really?
Oh, I thought that was just for eating bound. Okay.
Where does it say
Otherwise,
that? Yeah.
That's
I don't see that under
95.
ectophagia.
Yeah, 95. Eating ghosts, on the other hand, shows a base disrespect for the dead and puts the Sin Eater's Geist in fear for its existence.
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Ectophagia
do
is
that.
super bad.
All right, fair enough.
I was like, Ralph?
Yeah, it's okay. No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was representing it as Jagged Shards of Silvered Censure, wanting to, display his censure on these ghosts. But fair enough. Figured it's something he'd be into. Stefford wouldn't want to eat these ghosts, but Jagged Shard wants to continue
we won't call it
rending.
ectophagia, but it is we'll call it a moment of like really tearing one apart.
Okay,
Just barehanded.
That sounds good.
Shredding it, yeah.
Yeah, just shredding it, and this like flood of memories as you like really just crack that core of it, almost like Evangelion style.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you realize that this was a willing participant, not some trapped soul. Yeah, shit's fucked.
It's fucked up.
So, like, the people they killed in the rooms volunteered?
The ghosts were
Right.
willing.
Ghost left behind volunteered. Okay.
Yeah, we're willing to undergo the ritual.
We did a horrible murder on a person, and then their ghost agreed.
Well, I mean, especially if they're super angry ghosts and somebody manipulates and nudges them, it's like, I got an idea how you can get back.
Yeah, it doesn't
Vengeance
have
for
to
what
be a
was
big-
done to you.
Doesn't have to be a big ghost.
Yeah, rank 1s especially.
Rank 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's some cleanup and some other stuff and stuff like that happens, but yeah, I think you, especially as you retire back to, I think the closest bunker currently, especially with still doing some medicine on the soldiers that are nearby and stuff like that. There's a moment of quiet for all of you, and as Dorothy finally wanders back in off of the edge of No Man's Land. And we settle in for what you feel in your pits of your stomach is the next bit of nothing. Because much to Jagged Shard's chagrin, it cannot be action all the time.
Yeah.
I will.
And
with
to
that,
Stafford's comfort,
yeah,
there's
Fair.
a time where he does not have to give in.
with that, we will wrap up our first session tonight. I hope you have all enjoyed it. I know I had a blast. I'm loving ghost vibes. I cannot wait to continue to be a big old spooky bitch as your storyteller. And if you want to come talk to us about what you just saw, or birds, or other games, or I don't know what else we talked about, memes,
Literally anything.
literally a lot of things, come check us out on Discord, do.space. If you would like to subscribe to our Patreon and give us money to afford art and production equipment and stuff like that, so we can keep the show evolving and growing and doing cool things, check it out on Patreon at staylucky.club. We love you, and be safe, and we will see you next week.
Everybody.
Bye.
Stay spooky.